Okay. I'm not sure. I did a video. The last one I did, I think the sound quality was pretty bad. So I'm hoping that this one, I'm going to speak a bit louder, will be better. So I need to get a mic of some sort. Uh, okay. So this article is quite old, and it's 2014. It's time black women need to take care back the hair industry. Well, they do because they need to take it back, and they need to be massively more inventive in what they do with their hair. The Koreans virtually own the industry, yet you know black people sorry, need to start seeing that this is their industry, and need to start working in that industry and opening up because there's so much money to be made. Hairdressers, selling the hair products. Um, we need to see more um, of these black businesses, making the products themselves in America and across in Africa as well. Africans need to start making their own hair products and hopefully selling them to America and vice versa. And need to try to kick the Koreans out because they really have no business being in this business, you know. But it's all down to black people. I mean, let's read this nonsense here. Black women, it's high time we understood how critical this moment is in regards to how much we influence and contribute to the hair care industry. What is it? What do you influence? What you put white or Korean or Chinese or Asian, Indian women's hair and weave it into your hair? What's the influence in that? It's nonsense. You know, it's nonsense. I don't see where the influence is. You know, what you do is spend way too much on these products. That's the problem. You know, thanks to the digital revolution, we stand poised to reap the benefits of being launched from the same catapult that propelled the likes of Henry Ford, John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie. Wow, it's surprising that you're talking about men. These men were all lucky enough to live and build businesses during what we now refer to as the Industrial Revolution. Their vision and tenacity opened doors and birthed whole new industries. Well, we are going through a new revolution, a hair revolution. Really? In which our hair has become the clear focus of the beauty industry and also the money maker. Only this time around we can find ways to have a bigger stake in the profit. But here's the thing, we have to do it now. Really? It should have done it 20 years ago. 20 years ago is when you should have done it. Not now. Who's running the game? Exactly. Who is running the game? The black hair care industry is at least $684 million. Hardly any of that cash makes it back to the black community. That's your own fault. You walk into your local beauty supply store, will typically reveal a slew of brands that are Korean owned. Well, maybe you should get off your backsides and club together so-called black community and look at this industry and see what you can do to counter it. Produce your own products to counter it. a lot of this takes a lot of legwork. People are not just going to come to you. I think there was a company about a black supplier I saw on a film where the woman stated that she used to sell this particular um, heating tool. I don't know what it was to do with the hair, and she sold it to these Korean shop owners. And before you know it, they stopped buying from her. And when they went to investigate the reason, they found that the exact product that she had been selling, I think either they made or had they commissioned to get made, was now being made by these Koreans. They had got a Chinese company to make it for them. So they'd obviously bought this over a period of time, looked at the design and said, we can do it ourselves. Why should we buy from them? And we can get it cheaper. Cheaper quality, poor quality, it doesn't matter. A black woman will buy anything. And that's what they did. Black women have influenced the hair industry. So why aren't we reaping the benefits? Because your inability, the black community, inability to do good quality business. Don't have good quality business acumen. That's it. Simple as that. The black haircut landscape has changed significantly since 2006 with the emergence of the natural hair movement. Really? Which has contributed a 26 decline in relaxer sales. Really? If that's true, great. We need the natural hair. Black women stop, having relaxers. You don't need to relax your hair. You just need to be inventive with your hair, and our hair needs to be. It's starting to look cool now, and that really is down to black men. Black men made it look cool with the styles. They used their natural hair by cutting into it, plaiting it a little bit, a few bits and pieces here and there. So it's, shaping it. Whereas black women have been too busy relaxing their hair to straighten it. And now they extend it by putting weave into it. Black men have still carried on with it, the shaping of the hair, a little bit of innovation here and there. But here we go. Black women choosing to rock their hair unprocessed has birthed an entirely new industry. While there are black-owned and formerly black-owned industry companies that have grown of this movement, there are also large. What that is. This tells me that we can completely change the focus of major hair companies and where they are putting their money. Many of them would have never invested in products from natural hair unless we made them do so. We can't financially benefit from this trend, but we can't financially benefit from this trend we've created. If you talk about industries, black-owned industries, then fine, you talk to these guys. But if you're talking about other companies, Johnson & Johnson, big companies who make products, they're not going to do anything for you. You can't tell them unless we made them do so. It's up to them to decide whether they want to make products from black people or not. And if they don't, then you have to look at ways of producing it for yourselves. Stop looking at the white man to always produce things for you. You've got to look to yourself. What if black women just up and decided next year that we all want our creamy crack back? What's creamy crack? Jesus, Hage. What? Is that something between your bum cheeks or something? Is that supposed to be our hair? Creamy crack. Jesus. Oh dear. What would happen then? These industries would keep it moving from the natural hair product lines they've been dedicated to and start producing more creamy crack. Oh my god. Let's try and find out what creamy crack is. I've never heard of that. Creamy creamy crack. Urban Dictionary. Okay, let's have a look. Another word for chemical relaxers. Black women use straightening products that must be retouched every 6 to 8 weeks and become reliant on them. Like a crackhead to crack. Oh, that's good. Or the unnerving sensation that you feel with a mix of anal leakage, sweat, and shame collect in your mask while you are just trying to live in your life in peace. Also referred to as mud butt. Oh wow, how embarrassing. So there's two references to creamy crack. I love this one. The unnerving sensation that you feel when a mix of anal leakage, sweat, and shame collect in your ass crack while you are just trying to live your life in peace. Oh god, why don't you cut off your creamy crack and go natural? Oh my god. Um, Let me just put that as a 3. I like that. That's really funny. Um, so as you can see, it looks like there's two versions of the creamy crack. Oh dear, I like the second one. I like this second one. Just to be honest with you, that's what I thought it was something to do with your ass crack. Um, so that's the definition of the creamy crack. Sorry. We have the power for real. Really. We are not just talking about new products that our strands have inspired creation for, but also new jobs, machines, technologies, and infrastructures. Really. These major hair companies have had to switch gears entirely to accommodate what we think is cool. But still, there's no sign that our influencer status in the hair game is actually helping us. This is really a unique window of time we can't afford to lose. Really. It's critical that black female, oh, and in brackets, male, wow, entrepreneurs approach the hair care industry opportunities from a micro perspective. Creating products is great. In fact, Ultra Distributors reports that major natural hair brands have seen a revenue increase of over 1,400% between 2009 and 2013, corresponding to an estimated $150 million in revenue. But my hope is that Black entrepreneurs, that is both Black female and, in brackets, male entrepreneurs can get into the business of supply chain management as well. To be honest with you, that's really what Black people should be looking at, that bit. Oh God. Let's start with social media. Really. This was done in 2014. So with Facebook and with Twitter, do you really want to start with social media? Last year, the Small Business Association published a report entitled Access to Capital Amongst Young Firms, Minority-Owned Firms, Women-Owned Firms, Women-Owned Firms, and High-Tech Firms. And surprisingly, it revealed that the African American and Latino firms operate with substantially less capital all around, both at startup and in subsequent years, relative to their non-minority counterparts. Well, look, it's how the cookie crumbles. There are more whites in America than there are black. Blacks make 13% of the population. Latinos make 18%. Asians make 6%. So, there is money in the black community. But if the black community stops spending, money on guns and, stupid pants that hang around your ankles when you're walking about, smoking the crack and all that nonsense, and invested their money instead of invested in gold teeth, they'd be relatively richer off than they are now. It's up to the black community to get off its arse. It's creamy crack. Sorry, that's outrageous, but funny. We may have a lack of access to capital. No, you've got a lot of capital. It's what you decide to do to gain that capital. I think someone I saw a YouTube video, two guys talking about that there are some people blacks who will rather buy a car, like a Beamer or one of the American-made Lincolns or something like that, a Chrysler, whatever it is, than to buy or attempt to buy a house or put down on a small flat or something like that. Their emphasis is on the car. But if they can't get the capital, they think, the car is going to be no. If you put down or can obtain a house, that in itself says to the the person you're trying to obtain capital from that you might be a responsible person. You've got a flat. How much is it worth? It's worth this. I'm paying a mortgage on this or doing that, and then you might be able to get access to cash that way. There are credit unions that you can go to. It just depends on how serious you are in wanting to start up a business. It's not going to be done for you. You have to get off your backside and think your way through to it. You really do. And I think too much of the time, black people want this done for them. That's why they keep going on about wanting reparations all the time. For what reason? When you get that, what are you going to do with it? If you were to get it, which I feel is totally unnecessary, it's not needed. If you class yourself as an American, a black American, you're part of America. You shouldn't need to have so-called reparations Get on with the business of trying to think of a business that you can produce and start off. Get a business plan started. That's when you can look at setting up your business. You know, the black community needs to perhaps gather together a little bit and bring money together. There needs to be meetings, sit down and see what you can do to generate money, to you know to give out to startups. If someone comes with a business plan, sits down and goes through, this is what I want to do. I want to set this up. I want to set that up. Then you know it can be done. The Indian community in the UK had done it. They helped each other. They didn't go. They didn't go to the banks. They used to stay in. I mean, I've heard of a story when they would somehow get a house. There would be 13 or 14 people living in that house, and what they would do, they would all go to work, and every month or every week or whatever, they all put money into a pot. So after a period of time, where they put a good proportion of their wage in there, they would, once they got enough, they would go and open a shop for that particular one person. And once they were set up and ready and they were gone, the process would start. It would continue. They would all put money in the pot again, and help the next person and the next person and the next person. The black community needs to do something similar to that. Sit down, talk with each other, but it doesn't seem to want to do that. Black people are too individualistic, think too much for themselves, and need to think about other people other than themselves. But we may have a lack of access to capital. No, in America, there may be a little bit of disadvantages for black people, but generally you do have access to cash and to capital. But some of us eventually break through. Finding black business owners and creators in this game has become seemingly easier, from Instagram to Facebook to Twitter. Yeah, which you've got to now watch these companies: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm especially Facebook now. Many of us have the access we didn't have just some years ago to find businesses and startups we want to support. With social media platforms at our fingertips, we can operate the habit of sourcing out the best of blacks in industry, hair, and even nail artistry business, and start supporting them one by one. At the end of the day, there is $7.5 billion in black beauty spending up for grabs. I almost lost Victoria's Secret gig because of my natural hair. Really? I have to be honest with you. Let's click through this thing. Oh, shit. Here we go. This Torax, I'll just quickly read through this. Torax is currently on a press run for the book. Perfect equals 10 things. Sorry. Right. Cool. It's Torax a tranny. Anyway, so this so-called woman covers a career through her memoirs, covers her career, with the supermodel revealing Victoria's Secret almost let her slip through their fingers because their on-set stylist had no clue how to work with her natural hair type. I had to figure out how to make sure I looked good at work because I almost lost my opportunity at the Victoria's Secret. I shared in this magazine. I was sent home the first day because the hairdresser didn't know what to do with my African American hair, so it looked crazy. Yeah, that's the fault of the. That's obviously a white woman. Um, these are the things that you've got to do. It says the following year, Banks had her own stylist do her hair before heading to set, refusing to let VS Glamour Squad to touch her trestles, her hair. Then a year later, I finally begged my agent to get them to give me another job. And I had my hairdresser come to my apartment in Union Square, wash, blow dry, and flat hand my hair. And then I wrapped it and put a scarf on it until the next day. When I was on my way to Victoria's Secret and stepped out of the cab and whoosh, it off my head, walked in, got my makeup done, didn't let the hair people touch me, went to the bathroom, redid my face, put on extra lip gloss, and walked on the set. Yeah, so more and more falseness, add more and more nonsense. She goes, cuts to a 10-year contract. I'm the first black woman on the cover of their catalogue. I'm the first black woman to have a contract, to be an agent, to wear these things because I stopped silently suffering. But the trouble is, you had a nose job. You look a bit like more like a white woman, to be frank. I mean, you've got darkness there, but I mean, basically, she has to falsify. Now she's got the wigs to falsify her hair. She's doing that. It's strange, isn't it? I mean, why isn't the black community um, doing their own modelling? You know, set up a modelling school for black women to become models, and that kind of business. I mean, sometimes you do have to figure these things out. Nothing comes to you on a plate. So once you've figured it out, just get on with it. You know, life isn't easy. It's never been easy for a lot of people. You know, um, just that's just how it is. Suck it up and move on to the next stage. You know, but yeah. So anyway, I've seen my piece before. Yeah, and there you go. Anyway, thanks for listening, and